are.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 291. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is the talented and beautiful Sherill Turner. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
And I love your accent, by the way.
Oh, thank you. People are very kind about the accent.
I wish I had an accent, but I don't know.
You do have an accent. To me, you have an accent.
Well, what do I sound like?
American.
Well, it's not really an accent.
But it is. If you're not American, it's an accent.
That's true. But I do like yours better.
Oh.
I know, I'm a bad flirt.
No, that's all right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anytime. Now, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove to people you can still amount to something. With that being said, half hour, 45 minutes of your time. Hope you're very talkative. Ask me anything you want. You can post on me, I post on you. And it's good to gloves off, whatever you want to talk about. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm British, shockingly enough. I moved to New York earlier this year. I used to live in LA for 6 years before that. I'm from East London. I'm an actress and a writer. Very adventurous. That's why I guess I moved to America, because for opportunity. So I'm total economic, adventurous migrant, I guess. Yeah, and I've been living in New York since earlier this year, and really, really love it here. It's amazing. It's such a cool place. It makes sense as a city here. I feel like people can come here. There doesn't seem to be a lot of judgment. I feel like, I mean, this is from my perspective. Obviously, I've not been here very long. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to turn my phone off. I feel like, yeah, people can come here and pursue their goals and really just be the version of themselves that they would like to be. Obviously, I understand that economics and everything factor into that for everybody, but I don't know, it seems like a really open-minded place. Obviously, everyone's reeling from the election this week. But yeah, but what about you? You grew up here, right? Did you grow?
Yep, I grew up in New York for about, we moved in '87, so about 29 years we've been up in here.
Okay. And how do you like it?
Well, I'm not really in the city. I'm more like an hour or an hour and a half away from it. So if you ever been to Woodbury Commons?
I haven't. No, I'm still figuring out Manhattan and Queens and Brooklyn. So I've not been out too much.
Well, if you're interested, maybe you can hang out one day.
Sure, I'm always up for an adventure and seeing a new place and meet new people. So that sounds good.
And so, where are you based in the city?
I'm in Astoria in Queens.
Alright, so Queens, that should be an hour or an hour and a half, 2 hours depending on traffic. But an hour, hour and a half going, I keep saying it's either east or north. It's going towards the Catskills, it's near West Point. It's up that way.
Oh yeah, okay. It sounds a ways. I don't drive here. I did in LA, so I sold my car when I left in December, and I've just been getting the trains here, which I don't miss driving at all. Like it's really liberating not to have to drive places. I really like it.
No, I give you a perfect example. I was waiting for a taxi driver, and people are assholes, by the way. That's why I'm happy that you don't drive. It's because this taxi driver went to pick me up, and two people just blast through on the red light. It's like, it's a red white that you're supposed to stop. Nope, kept on going, so you almost had an accident there. It's like, good job.
Yeah, some people, I don't know. It's so weird because you think about cars and, you know, like they can be weapons, you know, they're so dangerous for people to drive, and yet I used to see it in LA all the time, like people on their phone, people. I was driving down the highway once, like pretty fast, you know, it's a highway, and this girl was like peeling an orange as she was also driving down the highway at about 65, 70 an hour. And I just thought, wow, that's, I don't know. I mean, I think everybody's been guilty of it. I've been guilty of like looking at my phone at a red light and things like that. And it's never, I don't know. I don't think we take being in cars seriously enough, just like the responsibility that it is. You know, sometimes when you've driven and then you drive home and you go, gosh, I don't remember anything about that drive. And that's kind of scary.
I tell you, I'm a couple of stupid taxi drivers I was in a car with where, you know, the guy he was texting and he's looking on the phone and I'm like, if I get an accident, I'm going to sue the shit out of you, number one, if I survive this. And then you have other ones where they're like, I'm like, really? Are you asking to be into an accident? Why did I have to get in the car with Mr. Magoo?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think people just go on autopilot when it comes to being behind the wheel, maybe.
You may think this is funny, but it's screwed up funny, but it's not like ha 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 funny, but it's ha ha funny.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go on, you go.
It basically, I was in Woodbury Commons, so I was looking for a job. And I was like, well, before, I didn't know where my dad was, so I'm waiting for him. So I saw a taxi. And the guy was sitting here like this, and his arms were like this. And I'm like, hello? Hello, sir, hello? And he had music on, I was like, hello? Hello, do you hear me? Sure. So I lost my temper. I'm like, are you awake? Hello? The guy completely oblivious is like, are you dead? Because he was sitting there hunched over and he's sleeping. I'm like, yeah, this would be perfect headlines for the paper. Driver found dead at Woodbury Commons. So I walked away. I'm freaking unbelievable. I called my dad, asked, could he pick me up? I walked back, and the guy's in the car going, want a ride? I'm like, no, I'm not getting in the car. It's Mr. Magoo over here.
Well, at least you know that he'd had a nap.
Or something. I know that sounds horrible, but it's like, you know, I gotta take a chance with Mr. Magoo over here.
I think that's fair. I'm British. I have a very kind of dark sense of humour, I guess. So that's my kind of humour.
I just thought it's messed up. It's like, if I really wanted to scare the shit out of them, I would have gotten into their back seat. I put a hood over my face, like from the Scream man. It's from Scream.
Oh no, that would have been awful.
But I'm a good person. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Yeah, let's not give people heart attacks. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, the next question I was going to ask you was, when you were in the college, did you go to the college in the States or England, number one?
England.
All right. I would have loved to hear about it. And did you ever do any sports growing up? Actually, the easy questions first.
I'm a bit scared about the hard questions. Did I do any sports growing up? We played sports in high school. Our high school is from 11 to 16. Well, from 16, but you can stay on until you're 18 if you want to. I guess we did PE, so we would play football, and we have a game called Rounders, which is a little bit like softball. I wasn't really that sporty. I was more arty. I was more into like drama and art class and things like that. So no, not really sports. And then I did go to college. I left high school at 16 because as long as you stay in some sort of further education between 16 to 18, say like if you want to go and be a plumber at 16, as long as you're in an apprenticeship until you're 18, you're in some sort of training, you can leave academic study, which is amazing if you know what you want to do. So I went to what you guys call a junior college from 16 to 19 and did performing arts there. And then at 19, then I went on to university college and got my degree. So yeah, so I studied, and I'm from East London, so my junior college was in East London, and then I moved to the north of England, a place called Yorkshire, and studied up there, which was amazing. It was really, really cool. I didn't actually want to go there, but that's where I ended up going, and I had the best time ever. So, sometimes things work out better than you could possibly have expected. So that was one of those examples.
Well, I give you a perfect idea if you want to hear it. If you're interested, I would love to hire you to be my tour guide, and we can go over to England. And Woodbury Commons would be perfect for you because it's mostly for women. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're into pants, shirts, sneakers, yeah, they have one electronics store, but it's not a big deal. But if you're into, like, the whole fashion thing, it's basically, it's a giant tourist tracks, and people from, I was trying to find words for it so people don't think I'm an idiot. Asians flock to it. So it's a lot of cute Asian girls there. But it's also people from Australia, England, Scotland. I think just Scotland there. I know it's everyone. They may not speak English that well, but if you mention Woodbury Commons, their eyes light up. Oh, yes, I've been there. Oh, try hard, good job. Yes, I've been there. They just want to make you laugh. But
what's at Woodbury Commons? What is it? Shopping or that they go in for?
It's pretty much like it's the second biggest mall in North America.
Oh, okay.
The first one is the Palisades. We should definitely hang out there one day. You would love it. The first couple floors are really nice, but the top one, last one, has a carousel. I think they have bumper cars. It's really nice. It's really big.
Okay. Sure. I don't really go to malls, to be honest. I don't. I used to, but well, I haven't got any money to buy clothes, so I guess that probably makes a big difference. Yeah, so I can't even remember the last time I went to a mall. I suppose I'm going to have to for Christmas shopping pretty soon for my family, but yeah, I tend to go to, because I moved to New York this year, so I've got the New York ID.
Yeah.
So I signed up for the Metropolitan Museum, and I just signed up for the Guggenheim the other day. So I'm trying to just, I guess, explore museums and art galleries and things like that. I tend to like doing that stuff. And going to the park. And going to Central Park a lot, especially at the moment because it's beautiful. Do you come into the city much?
Only if I have a reason to.
Okay.
But if you give me a reason to, I would love to spend the day with you.
Okay.
I know, I'm a bad flirt.
You are a bad flirt. I don't know how my boyfriend would feel about that.
I can flirt, but unfortunately I'm still single. Go figure, right?
Oh, well, how is dating in Woodbury Common?
From where I live, you really don't want to date anyone back here because I live in Orange County, and it's a really bunch of backwards ass people.
Oh, wow, that's a really strong opinion.
No, it's really bad. You have white trash, you have neo-Nazis. Occasionally you gotta find some nice people, but it's just, Orange County, it's nice. It's just, if you and me, or you and your boyfriend, for an example, come up and say, we're just married, we want to raise a family. Okay, this is perfect to raise a family, but if you're like my age or your age, or if you're older, there's really absolutely nothing here. Yeah, Chester has the movie theater, they have the castle if you want to hang out one day at the castle, they have miniature golf and everything. There's that, there's a bowling alley, but there's really, besides that, there's really nothing here, unless you're part of the in crowd. I don't know if England had that. Did England have that? The fraps and the in people?
Yeah, I remember we had, in our school, we had like the cool, hard people. I went to, it was quite a rough school actually when I was there. There were like lots of fights, and it was I don't know. It's changed a lot. Like the area that my parents still live in has changed a lot in the last few years. Yeah, you do. I think you get that anywhere, though. I think that's in any society. I think anywhere in the world, there's going to be like the popular crowd and then everybody else around them.
I just took this out of my drawer and I just remembered your accent. I have a short-term memory, but I remember certain things. But your accent just reminded me of something I had a conversation with. And did you ever hear of a company? It's a card like this. I don't know if you can see it.
Arc'teryx?
Aerodactyl?
Oh,
it's maybe you're right, Teryx. It's ARC apostrophe TERYX.
I don't know. I've never heard of them. What do they do?
I know they're a British company.
Okay.
And that's why I asked you if you ever know of them, but just seeing if you can give me some insight. But they're pretty much like I guess hiking. They have some material. It's kind of what North Faces, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's similar to them, but I guess it's the British version of it. I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they're like an activewear company. Yeah, never heard of them, but I'm not very sporty, so that's probably why. Even though I did go for a run this morning.
Well, I'm still trying to work out. I know I have a fat neck.
A fat neck?
The reason I like having my head tilted up because I look professional, but when I turn down and my brother makes fun of me, it's like, you have no neck. It's like, really? You mind? So I'm trying to go on a diet, but...
I think that's just gravity. Which you can't fight against.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you, the last easy one was, did he ever got a chance to do a human pyramid, number one? And the next question is, who influenced you to start your career?
Did I ever do a human pyramid? Yes, I did. It was a very small one. I did a couple of times, actually. When I was at college, we did like a basic acrobatics class for a few weeks. That was really fun. I fell over a bunch. I'm quite clumsy. And then I also did one, a very small one. I worked at a camp, actually, in Pennsylvania, summer 2001. And it was for children with learning disabilities. And it's called Summit Camp. It's an amazing place. The nearest small town was Honesdale, and the nearest big town was Scranton, if anybody's from Pennsylvania watching this. And it was, and camp counsellors, we built a human pyramid at one point as like a team building exercise. It's a really weird team building exercise, I think, to be like, oh, let's all support each other's body weight for a little while. It's really weird. You're like, you could do other things. You could just go to the pub. I'm British. That's how we team build. And then who influenced me to start my career? I think when I was about 4, I turned around to my mum and said I wanted to be an actress. And my brother, when he was 4, he turned around to our mum and dad and said he wanted to be a soldier, and he went into the military and I went into acting. So we both knew what we wanted to do at a really young age. And then I think my parents are amazing people. I'm really, really lucky to have them. They always just let me watch everything. And it's not that they were like, oh, okay, let's watch all this really inappropriate content because it's cool or anything like that. And I wasn't really watching inappropriate stuff. But like my dad really likes gangster films and war films, and they've always really liked like really interesting, gritty dramas. And so I grew up watching all of that stuff, as well as, like rom-com films and Pride and Prejudice with my mum. And so I guess they were probably a really big influence on me starting my career, because I was exposed to all this different storytelling through them. Through that, it wasn't really censored what I could handle. I can remember being about 6 and watching LA Law with my mum, which was not like a really particularly graphic show or anything like that. It's a procedural with pretty people. But I remember being about 6 and really being into the storyline of LA Law, which I think most other 6-year-olds are probably watching animation. So, yeah, I think then I just got really, really interested in stories through just being able to watch anything that I wanted to watch. And then when I've never really been into horror and stuff like that, we'd never watched that type of stuff. But then when I was 11, my mum started working at the college that I ended up going when I was 16. And she would then, her and I would go and see all of the shows at the college. So I was like, oh, great, this is amazing. Like, I know what I want to do. And now I know a how in 5 years' time of how I can study, like where I can go to study. So, yeah, I'd say my parents probably. And they're not in the arts at all. They just have a real love of like film and TV and theatre.
Well, what era did you grow up in? 90s, 80s?
80s. I was born in 81. So 80s and 90s.
Ah, so you're older than me.
I am.
I was born in 88. So I guess a 7-year difference, not a big deal.
No, I mean, I've got friends who are in their early 70s. Like, I don't think... Like, it's, you know, when you're younger, your friends are the people that you're in school with pretty much, and then you get older and it doesn't really matter. Like, I've got friends in New York who are in their 50s. I've got friends who are in their 20s. It's,
It's just a number. It doesn't mean anything.
No, it really doesn't. It really, really doesn't. My great aunt, who's 91, she's Italian, and she's so excited about life still and really interested in people and really interested in circumstances. And then I know people who are 25 and act like they're prematurely middle-aged. So I think it's an outlook more than anything else.
One question I do want to ask you about the pyramid stuff is that I am trying to do like my own Guinness Book of World Record attempt on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
I'm a loser. I love human pyramids.
that doesn't make you a loser.
I'm trying to get a bunch of girls together to do a record. Would you be interested in taking part in it?
Maybe. Depends on what it is.
Still working on it. And, I talk about it a lot, so I probably got like a lot of girls by now. And they keep going, when are you doing it? When, where? I'm like, I guess I can do it here, but I live at home. So I'm still working on it.
It's not going to be that big a pyramid. I feel like this is something that needs to be outside or in a gymnasium or something, right?
Or if I had my own place.
Right, yes. That was huge.
Go ahead.
And how big is the biggest human pyramid? Do you know? Do you know what you have to beat?
Well, the pyramids I want to do, no one has ever done before. Okay, there's the basic pyramid like this. That's like the 6th person. But I want to do my own pyramid, so I get an exercise ball and keep stacking the girls up. Say, like, you have 10, and you gotta say, okay, you just seen 10 girls do a stack. You're gonna hold that for about 2-3 minutes. There you go, you have a record. Now we're gonna challenge you on YouTube. Try to beat our record. Or there's people that, like, want to reenact the Dumbo pyramid, do it. Costumes and the lines and everything. I'm like, okay, let's do that and say, okay, we attempted it, we did it the best we can. Now you seem like the ice bucket challenge. It's just, so it's basically just different challenges, the different variations of the pyramids. I know, I'm a loser. I always wanted to do one since I was 4.
That doesn't make you a loser at all. If I wanted to do a human pyramid. What's with the exercise ball? Where does that come into play?
Well, I like the exercise ball, and I was thinking, why not do something different? You can either get on your hands and knees and you can stack up, or why not have something that will give you support, where you're holding on to something, but you also have the ball giving you support. I know, it's just to make it different.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. I think. I don't really know how to use the exercise balls. Well, like from when I have been to the gym twice. Yeah, all right. Well, that sounds fascinating.
I would love to have you part of my team if you're interested.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I guess. Yeah, sure. Why not? If I can, if it's a day where I can make it, I'll try.
Let's see what I can do. Right now, it's just in the process of seeing how many people would say yes. And
Yeah.
the next step is, okay, finding a place. But it won't happen for at least a couple of months or maybe a year or so. But, it's just, you know, it's a team, like I said, team friendship building. You're hanging out, you're making new friends, and you're just doing something about, whatever. It's just a giant hangout, basically.
Maybe you should start interviewing some people from Cirque du Soleil and inviting them to be part of the giant human pyramid. They'd be really good at it.
Well, if you can hook me up, and that's an idea.
I don't know anyone from Cirque du Soleil, but maybe when you're reaching out to people to interview, maybe you could do that.
That's true. Well, the next time I'm in the city, we can meet up. We can, have lunch, and then over time, it's my way of extending my hand to you guys in friendship, saying it's just a friendship building, and you're just trying to do. I'm socially awkward, so I guess for me, asking you if you want to help me do this pyramid stuff, it's just my way of saying I would like to consider you a good friend.
Okay.
If that
Well,
makes any sense.
yeah, I guess that's a way to spend time with people to build up friendship.
I know it's awkward. I apologize.
No, it's not. I'm just thinking about it. I don't think anybody's ever asked me to be in a human pyramid before.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it.
No. Well said. Well said.
The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the show over. Actually, one more question I do want to ask you. I asked you who influenced you, but how many years, trying to find my words for it. Now you put me, I embarrassed myself because I opened up. That's why I always talk to girls about the pyramid stuff, because you talk to the pyramids about the guys, they think you're gay.
Oh. Well.
My friend thinks I'm gay. I'm not. Yeah, I knew this guy since I was 4 years old. We grew up together, and he knew I always liked the pyramid stuff. And a couple of years later, I never asked him, say, let's do the pyramid, or let's do this, shirk his axe, the human tower, or whatever. And I never asked him because, one, I was embarrassed. Two, I have poor people skills. I do suffer from depression and panic attacks. And the major thing was he hangs out with all the criminals and dirtbags. So, to sum up my town, the last thing you want to say is to say, Keith likes doing human pyramids. He's a faggot. Or he's this, he's that. And then, because some people know my brothers. It's a small town, so if you fart, it's going to go around and then here say, have you heard of what happened over here? Yes, I did hear. He likes this, so I'm like, and to avoid all that, so I'm trying to get it out of my system. Let's act some cute girls, do some pyramids, get it out of my system, and because I wanted...
Hang on a second, why only cute girls to do pyramids?
I guess it's my way to flirt with girls.
Well, see, then you might not get that many girls wanting to do the pyramids. I thought this was a friendship thing.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, but you only want to be friends with cute girls? That's not very nice for all the not so cute girls.
Well, they're all welcome. And the point is, you know what I'm trying to say. It's I don't discriminate. But, I wanted to do it since I was 4, but then there's all these barriers. He's friends with the dirtbags. He knows the convicts. That's why I hate living in a small town, because if you do something... I'll give you a perfect example. The house next door to me was broken in. Long story short, the girl was stoned. Or whatever. She took LSD. And the next day, I went to the convenience store. It's like, oh, you live next to the house was broken in. I'm like, This is exactly why I want to leave. I hate this town. Mind your own freaking business. Yes, I live near the house. Yes, I know what happened. And that's exactly why I never told my friend Justin. Yeah, I told him later on, about the pyramid stuff. I tell you why. He blew me off. He said, I want nothing to do with you. I'm like, we were best friends for how many years? And I completely open up to you and tell you the one thing I always wanted to do was the human pyramid stuff. And he said, yeah, that's really rare. I don't want nothing to do with that. Okay, but
why don't you go to? Why don't you join a gymnastics club?
My school, I actually wanted to be part of the cheerleading club, but they are very sexist. They said no guys are allowed to be cheerleaders. So to make a long story short, this is something on my bucket list I just want to do, and if I gotta do it right, do it right. And I feel comfortable around women. That's why I only want to do it with women. Right. Because I tried, I had a couple of guy friends. I tried talking to the pyramid stuff, and they kept saying I was gay, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm retarded. And so I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna do the pyramid stuff, I'm only gonna talk to the girls about it.
That makes sense. That's a horrible thing. Those are all horrible things for people to say just because you want to do a human pyramid. That's why I'm suggesting like a gymnast club or something like that where loads of people get together and make you. I mean, I don't really know a lot about gymnastics, but some kind of club where that's what people do. They get together and it's not nobody's slinging around horrible words to people or anything like that. That is team building. That is camaraderie. Is there anything like that where you live? Yeah, but I'm not in the same age group as people. They only do it from 4 to about 15. So it's like, well, that rolls me out. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think if I don't know, like the gym or something like that would be a better option, or... I can always look, but, it's... Yeah. Hey, it. I mean, like, we have, like, sports centres and things in the UK where, like, adults do, but kids do trampolining, but adults do trampolining classes as well, or sports clubs and things like that. So at least then, or like a gymnast class for adults. That's true. There might be something. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's worth looking into. That's true. Well, right now I have about maybe like 2 people that are guaranteed, and I would love to have you part of it. But I don't want to impose on you. It's completely whatever you want to do. I'm just, like I said, extending my hand to you in friendship. Thank you. Well, I mean, it sounds very interesting. To be honest, I just never really know. I never really know what I'm doing from one day to the next. I hear you. That's the freelance world. Personally, right now, if I had to choose, okay, you want to do a pyramid tomorrow, or do you want to work on my career? I still need to find a job. I need to make an income. And personally, my talk show takes priorities. I'm not saying if we're ever in the same spot and we have a bunch of good friends around, then it's an opportunity. Yeah. But right now, my priorities is finding work, getting my talk show off the ground, getting myself established, and just taking it to the next step. And once I'm at that point, then yes, I can just start flicking things off the bucket list. Yeah, that's it. That sounds like a good plan. But I didn't mean to impose on you with the pyramid stuff. I'm just opening up to you. Yeah, you didn't. I don't feel imposed upon at all. So you're fine. Now I'm going to pass the show over to you. Was there anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to promote? Ask me. This is your time after all. Okay. What would I like to talk about? Well, I'd love to hear more about how the show's going for you, like what you're getting out of it. kind of, I guess, I know some of what the response has been, but yeah, so what's been your experience of chatting with people?
Well, you brought up something that's caught my interest. What kind of responses that would you mention?
Well, I remember I watched I know that you were getting some likes and things like
Yeah.
that for your for your interviews, which is good. Like, I know that that's what people do online, isn't it? They hopefully like each other's things and not saying negative things, because I think that's too easy for people to do on the internet. But that's what I wanted to ask, like, what would you like to happen with your interviews? Like, what's your dream with doing your show?
I would say, I mentioned this for all my interviews. It's basically, I suffer from depression, I have poor people skills. That's why I open up to you about the pyramid stuff, because, I'm just, one, I'm flirting with you, but also it's therapy for myself, because I feel a connection with certain people. That's why I act,
Hmm.
I just express myself. Um, but the reason for the talk show is I suffer from depression, I have social anxiety, I have poor people skills, if you can tell. But
Really? No, I don't think you have poorer people skills than a lot of people that I know.
I
And I think the
appreciate
fact
it.
that, like, and you're saying that, but then a lot of people who do, because I can I have bouts of depression sometimes. I think it's quite common with a lot of actors. And I think a lot of people, when they're feeling depressed, or if they do feel like shy or that they have poor people skills, it's very, very easy for them to retract and to
Yeah,
hibernate and to isolate themselves. So the fact that you're saying that you have poor people skills, and yet you're interviewing all of these people we've never met before, and yet we're just sitting here having a conversation for like 45 minutes. So a lot of people can't do that walking around the street, can't sit and have a conversation with somebody. You see that all the time on the train. Sometimes you get chatting to people on the subway or in a coffee shop, and I'm talking like London,
yeah.
LA, and New York, and lots of other places. And people would rather eat their own face than have a conversation with a stranger. So I think the fact that you're making an effort to reach out to people that you don't know, to have a chat and to have a conversation, that's huge. That's very commendable. And yeah, sorry, you go, because I
No,
asked
that's
you the
fine.
question. So
I,
yeah,
I, I like hearing you talk, so and it also helps me think what I'm gonna say too.
okay, good, good.
And it's just, if you compare me 10 years ago, I'm not the same person. And it's just, the pyramid stuff's the perfect example. I was isolated when I was younger. Then I had a good friend, but he just basically blew me off after I opened up to him. And I tried reaching out to people. I tried opening up, and I kept getting, pushed aside and rejected. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep it to myself. So it kept building up and up and up, and panic attacks. And am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? Are they gonna judge me for this if I say that? I know the people are gonna judge me about the pyramid stuff. Why is he so obsessed with the pyramid stuff? And I know people are gonna do, but I don't give a shit. I like it. It makes me happy.
Oh,
And it's just, I don't know. To make a long story short, it's therapy for myself and how to interact with people, get over depression, helps ease my social anxiety. And for the longest time, I was labeled as mentally disturbed, retarded, and among other things. And I was never going to amount to anything, only retail. And I just got tired of sitting at the conversation. I'll give you a perfect example. Me, you, and your boyfriend sitting down, and he's telling you, you know, uh, Ms. Turner, you have all these great potentials. You have the looks of a great actress. You have all these great things. You went to college, and you can do this, you can do that. And I would say, okay, what about me? And both of you stop and look at me and say, what about you? It's like, well, you have a learning disability. You're handicapped. You're retarded. You have poor people skills. you're not qualified to do this. You're not capable of doing that. And I heard this over and over and over for the past couple of years. And I just said, you know what? Fuck it. And I said on the censor, I said, fuck it. I was like, you know what? I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sick of being labeled. I'm going to show you I can still mount something no matter what. And if I'm using a weakness, I'm going to turn it into a strength. So, yes, for the longest time I was using my disability as a crutch. I can't do this because I'm handicapped. And it didn't dawn on me I'm starting to handcuff myself, saying, you keep saying it, and I guess you're going to eventually believe it's true. So everyone in my family are going off doing their own little things. And I'm just like saying, I'm going to do that too. And, I use my brother for a perfect example. He's off doing things. Yeah, I want to be just like him. I want to be like my dad, who's a great school teacher. And I'm just saying, I have a disability. I may have a scale back. You're 10 on a 5 and have a scale back. But eventually, I'm going to keep working on it. And I'm going to get to the same point where you are. And we're going to be on the same level. And people will say, well, you really amount to something.
Wow. Gosh, that's inspiring. For everybody that has something that they perceive is holding them back. That's huge. Gosh, you could go into politics.
I hate politics.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially this week. Bloody hell. Wow. So what do you want to do? You as well as hosting. Is this what you want to do for a career? Do you want?
To be honest, this is what I want to do until I die. I want it to go to the next step. I want to be the next Bill O'Reilly, Bill Maher, John Cena. Yeah, become a superhero, become an example. And that's just, become a hero, become an example, get my own TV show. And it just become established. And then I can be like, I accomplished what I wanted.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, that's huge. It's good. It's good to have ambition.
It's true.
I think. Yeah, it's it drives you. It keeps you going. And I'm saying this to myself just as much as I'm saying it to you. Sometimes things are really challenging and they're really tricky and hard, and feels like you're not making progression with things, but just persevering, just one step at a time. But having this big, what you've got is this big. There's this guy that does talks online. His name's Mike Dooley, and he talks about how basically your thoughts become things. So your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your life, basically. And he says about it's important to keep in mind this big, bold, audacious goal that you want. Like he said, and don't spend all of your time figuring out the hows of it. Just keep that in mind and do everything you can do every single day to be taking whatever steps you can towards it, which you are. So just by, this is how people start. They start I don't know, maybe some people have people can just go, here's a bunch of opportunities handed to you on a plate. But for most of the rest of the population, I think it is that case of like, right, well, this is what I want to do. So what small steps can I write? I wrote a book, which I'm learning about self-publishing at the moment, which is huge. It's blowing my mind. But I just did it because I was like, oh, so I want to write and I want to publish. Oh, no one else is going to do that for me, so I'm going to have to be disciplined, give myself a kick up the arse and do it myself. So that's what I've been working on. And I've just recently decided to self-publish it. And so I'm giving away chapters for free at the minute. I've been posting them on my website, just like a couple of chapters a week for people like just to read it just for fun without having to pay for it. And yeah, I don't know, I guess chatting with you has really inspired me. So thank you very, very much, just to keep going with it. Because, it's so, sometimes you put yourself out there and then you're worried that people aren't going to like what you do, and, all of the monkey mind voices. But yeah, you're right. It's really important to keep the big goal in mind of, you want to be a hero, you want to prove people wrong, you want a TV show. Awesome. Good.
No, absolutely. It's about proving people wrong.
Yeah. And there's this quote by Henry Ford. I love quotes. I love things like that. I love like affirmations and things, just because it just reminds you that other people have faced challenges as well, and that have kept going and have achieved wonderful things in their life and had adventurous lives. And Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And I was like, I love that. It's so simple and it makes so much sense. And it is, so it's really wonderful that you're doing what you're doing, and I commend you and think you need to keep going.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, wrapping up, I do have a couple questions for you off the air.
Sure.
But going on the record, it took us a fun factor. Going on the record, when I first approached you, what was your honest opinion of me? And after doing the interview, how do you feel now?
Well, I didn't have an opinion of you because I didn't know you. So I just thought that you were somebody that was doing interviews from home and wanted to reach out and connect with lots of people, because it was through Stage 32 that I first saw your message. And then I watched an interview. I can't remember the name of the actress, but it was this great actress with red hair. Not that that's very helpful. And my opinion of you now, having spoken to you for an hour, so I get to know you a bit better, is that you're really just you seem like a very kind person, a very intelligent person, somebody who's very interested in the world rather than just themselves, which is rare today, it seems. Well, that sounds a bit harsh, but because lots of people are. But, the fact that you're reaching out to chat to other people is a really, really important and powerful thing to create community. And, and I think you're going to go on and do everything that you want to do, because you seem very dedicated and very tenacious. That's my opinion.
Well, wrapping up the interview segment, stay tuned for after the show. But wrapping up our segment, it's a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest on the show, and I'm looking forward to building a friendship with you as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to do this. It's been really lovely chatting.